Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Migtown podcast, your only weekly source for the NCAA news that you actually want to hear. As always, I'm Producer Tim, and joining me is the mayor of Migtown, Drexel. Say hi.
Hi.
Episode 41, Drex. We're officially over the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we hit the wall with the last episode. So now we are full on post wall, and it only goes downhill from here. That's the beautiful thing about the wall.
Yeah, we got a guest in the studio today. Drex, go ahead and introduce your guest.
Well, she can introduce herself. She has been on before. Go ahead and introduce yourself, dear.
I am NCAA Cat, here to talk about sports and all the thoughtery and terribleness that occurs within it.
You know what? I actually have not released the Thought Girl Summer episode we have her on. I haven't finished editing yet. It's too much.
Yeah.
So,
There's never too much thoughtery, Tim.
No, there's always too much thoughtery.
Yes.
All right. Oh, God. Good to have you back in the studio, Kat. I know we haven't released your Thought Girl Summer episode, but watch for that in the near future. Some of you may also remember her as a guest on Raketa's show, Raketa Law, featuring Drexel. Is Nick becoming your sidekick now, Drex? Is that how that works?
Oh, no. Nick is still, he's still definitely the bigger fish in the YouTube sea. Well, it's great because when I was thinking about doing this episode with Kat, and I wanted to have her on again anyway. I know people liked the first time she was on, and I remember when Harry met Sally. Right, there was that whole question of can men and women be friends? And I was like, it'd be great to have like this whole dynamic where we kind of break down a few things from different walks of life. Right, there's relationships, there's sports, there's school. There's these topics that I think they're kind of all interconnected. So it's kind of like it's a battle of the sexes and it's a union of the sexes, right? We get the best of both worlds. So it's great to finally get Kat back in to go ahead and discuss quite a few topics. But I know, she loves her sports. I used to love sports until it became a sad shell of itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sports, it's definitely not what it used to be. And if you talk to a lot of older people, you'll see that their interest has kind of waned because, they remember when sports had a certain aura to it, and it was a lot rougher before all the the woke stuff came, before the rule changes. But I mean, if you're a sports guy or a sports gal and you love going in, and watching your team, whether they're local, national, right, amateur, professional, I mean, it's great to do these things because I mean, obviously, no one wants to just sit in the house all day. And I myself will be going out to. I'm taking my sister out. I'm taking my big sister to see bare knuckle cage fighting in Omaha, Nebraska on Friday night. So when it comes to sports, I prefer to watch combat sports, to be honest with you, just because there's a certain ferocity to it that's not as watered down as a lot of the other sports. So, Kat, we have quite a few things to go through. You want to get to sports first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You mentioned, you texted me about our main man, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, Lane, yes.
We were talking. You did not know that his father, Monty Kiffin, was a legendary coordinator.
I didn't know that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he comes from. He's got sports blood, right? Coaching blood. So yeah, his frat. I guess you could call it like frat boy antics, even as a head coach. They do start to make sense when you know his background, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was fired from like USC or UCLA. I forget which one it was. It was some school in California, though. He was fired as their head coach because he was canoodling with co-eds on a yacht.
That's base, man. That's the savagery we want to see.
So yeah, I and also I'm not super impressed with his offensive schemes, but I think he's more focused on co-eds than he is football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
You don't say.
That's a shocking development we just discovered.
I know it's hard to believe that young Lane Kiffin, relatively young by coaching standards.
Well, okay, yeah. By
But
coaching standards.
by head coaching standard, because he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing this since
Well,
he was in his
yeah,
30s.
and all honesty, he's not even an ugly guy. He's fairly fit. I mean, he has like a dad bod, but that's what chicks are into now, apparently.
I do got to ask you this question because I don't believe that for a second.
I do.
Okay. What are you seeing out there in terms of the whole dad bod thing?
I do really think that people are attracted to the dad bod. I can't explain it. But
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not seeing it. I'm being totally honest.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
No. Here's what I will say.
I've also
given the option. Let me ask you this: given the option, if you have guys who are equal level of attraction, right? They both have attractive faces. They're both tall. How many of these women do you think are going to go for the guy with the dad bod versus the guy who, like, I'm not saying he has to be, like Mr. Olympia, right?
Yeah.
But pretty good shape. You see what I'm saying? Like he's cut up, he's defined.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go in personal level, I guess. So I'm like skinny fat. Like I'm skinny, but I have like outside of my legs, there's no muscle tone. And so I'm like, if I dated a guy that had a better body than me that worked out all the time, I'd be like, oh crap, I gotta start doing this now.
Oh, by this you mean work?
Work out. I don't want to do it. I'm just like I can walk, I can hike, I can play golf, I'll throw a football around, like I don't care, but I just don't make me like lift weights.
You can do calisthenics, right?
What's
all
that?
Body
Aesthetics.
All body weight.
Okay, I think I could maybe do that. I don't know, but like I'm just like, oh, like if they're in that peak physique, I'm just like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to like start doing stuff.
I'm just telling you, when we look at all of our sex symbols, right? Prime Brad Pitt, prime Jason Momoa.
I understand what you're saying. Like they are like very attractive people, but the minute I see them in the real, like in the wild, I'm just like,
damn it, I have to compete.
Yeah, it's like crap. I'm gonna have to work out if I date you. That just sounds terrible.
Ugh.
I mean, if you date me, you can climb mountains with me. That's all I ask.
Oh, I do. I like hiking. I like doing like athletic things. I just don't want to lift weights.
But do you like hike? Do you hike like a city park trail, or do you actually go out into the wilderness, get lost, get eaten by a bear, and then return?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not getting eaten by a bear, but it's not like a city park or anything like that. It's just like a mountain. It used to be a quarry where they got like limestone from, and then they got all the limestone, so now it's just a hiking trail.
Drex, nowadays you actually have to check, because words don't mean what most people think they mean. When they say like, oh yeah, I hike. Yeah, the paved bikeway along the seafront.
Yeah, no, it's not that. This is it's wooded and it's wilderness. It's just there's a trail. Oh, great fall colors. Not yet, but soon, hopefully.
Oh, it's here in Canada. Fall hit hard, man. There's leaves flying everywhere.
Yeah, well, in the South, the only things that are falling are things from the hurricane. So
they're still landing.
Yeah. So we haven't hit fall yet.
You guys got hit hard, man. That was I mean, have you, anyone that you know personally that was affected by that?
Other than a couple people that had to, I mean, it sounds almost terrible. They had to like go get their boat out of the marina and drive it up north. Other than that, no. Because of the water. Well, actually, I say that's a lie, because there's I do know a couple of people that got like hit pretty hard in the Gulf. It was, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty rough.
Okay, well, yeah, so a few. Yeah, I know it was pretty bad. I know shout out to our man Ribby the Party Frog. I know he had family who was hit by that. So yeah, I know that quite a few. They're like relocating people, just like with when Katrina happened.
Oh yeah,
about those stories.
And the saddest thing was I was reading articles about people saying that they we want to evacuate, but we literally can't because gas and all that stuff just skyrockets the minute a hurricane is coming.
Thanks,
Yep.
Biden. Also, did I hear you crack a beer?
Don't judge me.
What kind?
Bud Light.
Uh-oh.
No free ads, but
Hashtag not sponsored. All right, guys, you know what to do. Shit on her in the comments.
Bud Light.
Why?
But so Kat, we've got our man Lane. What do you have to say about Lane, his behavior, and his coaching?
His behavior, I honestly really can't judge his behavior. I think he's shitty as a person, but as a guy, I mean, I kind of get it. I think, he's divorced and single, and he's working on a college campus around a bunch of young girls, most of them probably recruiters. And they want that, that special treatment. They want to go out on the boat and, crack open a beer and do whatever. But the thing is like, that's not what he was hired to do. And also he sucks at his job anyways. And then the fact that, okay, so Ole Miss, which is where he's coaching now, was proudly stated that they have 100% vaccination across the team. He got COVID while vaccinated and is now out for 2 weeks. And he can't coach. And he can't even remotely coach because the NCAA said that it's not allowed. You can't do the remote coaching stuff. So,
well, I can see potential problems with that, like having access to 3 different screens and watching telecasts and being able to look stuff up on the internet.
It's partly the problem is that there is a delay in the TVs, and he would have to have a live feed, or they would have to delay the game. Like, there's a bunch of issues with it. Because Nick Saban wanted to do it because when he had COVID last year and he was remotely coaching and they were able to do that. But whenever it came game time, the NCAA would not allow him to do the live coaching away. And if they tell Nick Saban no, Lane Kiffin definitely isn't going to get a yes. So outside of just general game plans, that's all he can contribute. He also just sucks. But
I'm sensing a little jaded, little jaded behavior and tone of voice toward our main man Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, because he sucks. If he was good, I wouldn't care what he did. I don't care what people do. Look at Tiger Woods.
Well,
I don't care what Tiger does.
You and your dad say that you have you've unlocked the secret to Tiger regaining his form. And what is the secret to Tiger regaining his PGA Championship form?
He needs to go back to screwing Waffle House waitresses and strippers. Just go back to that, and he will be golden. Like, maybe not after the most recent accident, but yeah, if he can just go back to Waffle House, get those girls, oof, he'd be good. That's it.
So
that
Waffle
was his
House
best
hoes.
game.
So Waffle House hoes and strippers.
Yep, I'm down for it. If it gets him where he needs to be, I am down for it. I don't care. I want Tiger to be the best Tiger.
So you ready to see that red shirt on?
Oh yeah, red shirt,
on
black
Sunday.
pants Sundays.
Black pants Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so ready for it. I don't know if we're going to see it ever again because of the leg injuries, but if we do, just go back to Waffle House, bro.
Yeah, he had an epic fall between the implosion of his marriage, the injuries and stuff. He's great for the game, right? Because no one cared about golf before Tiger.
No.
Literally nobody.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. Tiger Woods made golf relevant again.
Yeah, no one cared. For those of you who may be a little too young or never had any interest, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, like my dad is a huge golf guy. And I've been around golf guys, the guys that he knows, and they will all tell you, like, they like golf, they follow it, but they said in terms of like, just your general public, literally no one cared about golf before Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was the Jack Nicholson era.
He made it marketable.
Yep. It became cool. It was not cool to say, like, I'm going to golf before, I would say, about 1997, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm sure, you've talked to your dad about this, right? Where people are out there doing, they're doing X, Y, and Z. And then at some point, someone's like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go do a round, I'm going to go play a round of golf, right? I'm going to go, 18 holes. Or I'm going to go, just hit some balls, work on my short game. If you said that in the early 90s, people would look at you side-eyed, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Golf? Like,
nerd.
It was considered like the like crusty old white guy sport, right?
Yeah. Well,
like
and also in the professionals at the time, like the pros were the crusty old guys.
Oh,
I mean, they were still good, but they had like the beard. They had the dad bods.
I was just about to say that they had the dad bod, and it was not sexy. Okay, like women didn't look at golfers.
Maybe this is my problem.
Yeah. Well, when women saw golfers, right? They like this is the reason why golfers didn't get girls back then. Is that like dad bod wasn't cool, golf wasn't cool, and this is also very similar to what happened to video games, right?
Well, it was it's also considered like a country club sport, and it's not a cheap sport to be a part of. Like between the cart fees, all that stuff, like it's not cheap. So it was considered not. It was considered like white rich guy, like old.
Yeah, always old. Yeah, it was, Tiger made that sport so relevant. So it's so financially viable because my dad told me what the purses were, right? He told me the purse for winning majors back in the day, winning major tournaments, it was not that big before Tiger. He told me, he was like, yeah, when you won, it was like, okay, yeah, you whereas by modern standards, you could win one tournament, right? Or win that one major, and that could be your income for the year. Like you're good.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that was not like you're winning a major now. You're winning about what? About 1.3? About 1.3 million is what the winner takes. Somewhere in that $1 million range.
Yeah.
It's enough money for a German Shepherd to divorce you and take it all.
Well, shout out to KG, a simp who I heard he's paying $346,000 a month for alimony and child support. So another simp goes down. So Kevin Garnett, keep your head up. I know your life sucks. You had no business marrying her, but Cat, in the sports world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the Lane Kiffins of the world that stand out, right? There's certain things that have kind of taken hold in the sports world, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about the policies, right, of getting the jab with some of these teams. What's your take on that?
Well, all right, some teams have been good about it. Some haven't, in my opinion. Like, I think, okay, if you have 100% vaccination, that's fine. Whatever, brag about it, I guess. I think it's dumb. But the Big Ten has a policy now that this is even if you are getting the jab, if one player tests positive for COVID, it's automatic forfeit in the Big Ten. And then if both teams test positive with one player, just one, it's a scratch. And it's just like, yeah, you're just not playing. You just don't play. And it's just stupid to me. I'm like, you're taking away the one thing. And outside of like, can we just like quarantine that one person and test everyone else and make sure that they're fine? Like, testing has gotten a lot faster now, so you can even test them on game day. It's just ridiculous to me that the Big Ten is not allowing players to play or teams to play because one person might test positive.
It's absurd.
And
the whole thing is absurd.
And you look at Lane Kiffin, he was vaccinated, his whole team was vaccinated, and he still got it again. So he's out for 2 weeks, I would assume. It could only be 1 week, but I'm assuming it's 2. And the mess. Granted, it's the 2 weeks that make the least impact on them. Although Ole Miss sucks anyways, and they're not even eligible for bowls because they hire hookers. But, who cares?
Well, hold on. They all do, right? They were just dumb enough to get caught.
They got caught. Yeah, it's like they were dumb enough to get caught.
We remember what happened with Louisville, right? When Rick Pitino was there, and then they look around like, where these hoes come from?
Oh, I don't know.
Where these hoes came from.
I have no idea. Why are they here? I have no clue.
I have no clue where these hoes came from. I knew that. You know what's funny? You and I talked about this. Would you agree that as a general rule of thumb, not always, but as a general rule, for the like the important stuff. Head coaches know every last thing that's going on with their team.
Yeah, no, they do, because we had a head coach at my university that hired private investigators to make sure that the team was honoring their curfew.
Yep.
I mean, so yeah, the head coach knows what's going on.
Yep. Head coach knows.
That's part of their job.
So let me ask you this, and we're not even going to get into what happened with Louisville, but if an assistant coach or assistant coaches hired actual 304s to come in and service the team of athletes, you would agree these assistants would not be doing this as rogue agents, right?
No. The only way I could see that being a possibility would be if the coach was like, I know what you're going to do, just don't tell me about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Still knows.
That's the only... but they still kind of know, but it's just like, I because that happened at my university as well, where they were just like, don't tell, like, we're not telling them, but you're hired for a reason.
Yep.
And
don't tell.
Yeah, it's just like, so I could see them not knowing specifically. However, they know.
Yeah. There's a general knowledge. I guess that's what I'm getting at. There's a
Yeah,
general knowledge of every last thing. There's always going to be that element of plausible deniability when these coaches do the whole like, hey, I didn't, send my assistants out to go hire hookers to, for my athletes, like, because you can't trace it back to them, right? Like there's no there's no recording, there's no text.
They have to protect themselves.
Correct. And the brand, right? Especially with the winning coaches.
It's not even like protect the brand. It's really more of the morality clause in their contracts. But yes. Because if they got caught with that and the NCAA, like, their contract's null and void, and they're not owed anything.
Yeah, then you don't get the money, and that's really all this is about. The whole machine, for those of you who don't know, the whole machine in the NCAA, any business, let's face it, any business, it's about money. There's no morality. Like when you hear these things about morality clause, here's what let me break down what a morality clause really is. A morality clause is basically the powers that be saying, but we don't want you to make us look bad, because if we look bad, we'll make less money, right? We'll lose TV deals. We could lose sponsors. That's what a morality clause is.
That's what happened with Tiger. He lost all those deals because of morality clauses.
That's right.
Even though, like, he messed up, but it really wasn't that bad of a mess up, in my opinion. But
I don't believe so. I mean, here's the thing. His marriage has nothing to do with us, right? If he wants to go smash hoes from Waffle House and busted up strippers.
It doesn't have anything to do with Nike. It doesn't have anything to do with Rolex or whatever other sponsorship, like Ping or Titleist, whoever he was sponsored by. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Like, and I'm like, I still like Tiger. I was kind of laughing at the fact, I'm like, oh, you got caught, you idiot. But other than that, like, I didn't really care. And it didn't affect my opinion of the brands that he was being sponsored.
And people haven't figured that out. And one of the things that Nick and I have talked about is that we have to prepare for a future wherein everyone's going to have a sex tape out there somehow, some way, right? Like every famous person, something. There's going to be so what happens when between politicians, athletes, everybody? What happens when everybody has like something salacious out there? Because in the Tiger Woods case, here's the thing. You and I both know, Kat, that the same heads of these companies, right? Nike, Titleist, Callaway, the same executives who are sitting there in media saying, oh my God, our company doesn't stand for this, blah, 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 blah. So we've dropped our sponsorship, blah, 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 blah. These are the same dudes who also have affairs and mistresses and, maybe going to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
I'd put money on it.
Yeah, getting pegged by a dominatrix, like.
And once again, like, I don't even care. I'm like, I like your product. Yep. Like, I like Callaway, and I like Ping. Those are my like go-to. I don't hate Titleist.
Simp.
Whatever. Shut up.
TaylorMade all the way.
Oh God, seriously?
No, I don't play golf. Do I sound like I play golf?
I'm just TaylorMade. Oh, sorry. Just almost barfed.
Look,
they are good though.
I smashed a girl named Taylor in high school. It means a lot to me. All right, don't.
Okay. Uh, no, but like at the end of the day, like I don't care what their like representatives necessarily do. Like if they murder someone, sure, we can have a discussion. But at the end of the day,
Or
it
if they
doesn't
molest an underage kid.
Well, yeah, like, but at the end of the day, though, it's like I can understand, like, yeah, molesting an underage kid, murder, something like completely severe.
Even
But
murder,
stepping out of your marriage, though,
I gotta, if it's murder, I gotta hear what happened, right? I gotta hear what happened first. Do you have it coming?
Whatever. I don't know.
Was your neighbor Rand Paul?
I don't know.
I guess no one got that reference. All right, well, scratch that one off the list. I'll cut that one from the episode. Hang on.
Rand Paul.
But no, it's just I don't care. I care about the product. I care about what I like. So I like Callaway. I like Titleist. I like Ping. But like if someone that's representing them just steps out of their marriage and then ends up with a golf club, like a 6-iron through their windshield because their wife threw it at them, I'm just like, it's just kind of funny. But I don't know. I just don't get it. I understand, like, I guess what they're trying to do, but it's not that big of a deal. Like you said, Drex, like these guys are doing it too.
Yep.
It's not like
and Tiger, if you're in the position of Tiger, you can't really say anything because that can ruin your future endeavors, right? Like here's the thing. Okay, let's say I know the guys.
They all hired him back.
Yeah, absolutely, because here's the thing. It made sense to do so after the Heat blew over. That's why.
Well, he went to rehab. He went to rehab.
Well, here's the thing. You and I both know.
They all go to rehab, right?
Well, you got to. It's all about the comeback story, right? Like, so the only thing America loves more than like a success story or rags to riches story. The only story they love more, there's one and only one. It's the redemption arc, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as people love Tiger rising, okay, Kat, would you agree that the jubilation of Tiger finally winning another major a couple of years back was even bigger than those other wins when, like his meteoric rise?
Well, yeah, because they wanted him back, and he'd been dealing with like back injuries and like shoulder and knees. I think people were just like, we want Tiger to win.
Well, you know what I loved about that? Here's what I loved personally, and this is as a non-golf guy. I remember, my dad was obviously watching the games and stuff. He was in town, and one of the things that really stood out to me about Tiger is that, like, you see this with a lot of people who are like, disgraced at some point, right? They pile on and they get all, indignant and everything. They really go after you. There's one thing about, like I said, with ratings, with money, there's one thing about that. But do you know what I think really ended up happening? Without Tiger, you realize how much you missed him, right? When Tiger was going through all the back surgeries and all that, people kind of realized, right? They're like, yeah, look, Justin Day, these guys can play, right? There's guys out there, Rory McIlroy, like they can play. There's guys out there that are good, right? But like you were missing something, right? Like you could feel like you could watch golf and you were like,
I go back to like Tiger changed it, and once he's completely gone, if he is completely gone now, I really don't think it's going to be as big because there are some personalities, but there's no one as big as Tiger.
Nobody,
like,
not even close.
The other one I can think of is that. Oh, I can't think of his name. I do like him though. He's cute. But it's the guy. He's sponsored by Puma, and Ricky Fowler. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yep.
Ricky Fowler is the only one. Maybe Bubba Watson-ish, but he's apparently an asshole.
But Kat, none of them have the it factor, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
you can't have a Ricky Fowler PGA Golf, 2022. Well, because
he's too young, and he dresses weird. He dresses in the same, like his shirt and pants are the same color. Like it's just, and he has a mustache, and I call it a molestache because he looks like a creeper.
Damn.
But they just don't got it. Like some guys don't got it. Look, Tiger just had it, right? Some guys, you either have it or you don't.
He had the personality. Yep. He had the draw, he was also winning, which was amazing. And I mean, because like the only other person I can think of would be John Daly, but he's not even on the tour anymore. I think if he is, he's on the senior tour, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, get him a wheelchair.
He had the rivalry with Phil Mickelson, lefty.
Okay. Phil Mickelson is mediocre.
Yeah, he had a time with Vijay Singh was on the tour before he went to the senior tour. Like a lot of these guys had time, but none of them were that guy, right?
Yeah, and Phil Mickelson is vanilla as it gets.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. In all sports, we look for that guy, right? There's a certain personality type. Like, okay, in basketball, that's why a guy can be as great as someone like Tim Duncan. But Tim Duncan doesn't do it for people, right? Because they're like, he's so boring. You see what I'm saying?
Or Lyndon B. Johnson.
Like, you need a certain person, a certain ferocity. And here's the thing.
Yeah, well, it's not even like a personality. You need a certain presence.
Yeah. You need a flair, right? Like, so
you need charisma. It's called charisma. You need to be a people person.
Well, some guys are charismatic, but there's something missing. Like you can be very charismatic and still not have whatever that it factor is.
Phil Mickelson.
Well, it's marketing. At that point, it's just marketing.
True.
But Tiger does it better than anyone else has ever done it. Because Phil Mickelson is like, he's very personable, but he's also like, he's not that good. He lucked out that one time, or maybe I think it was one time. Maybe he won it twice, but the Masters.
I don't know about the not that good though. He's got multiple majors though.
I got an interesting hypothetical for you. Talking about marketing, right, and presence. So no one disputes that Michael Jordan, as great as he was also an icon for the sport, right?
Yeah.
The ambassador of basketball.
Yeah.
Right. Could you do Space Jam with Tiger Woods, and instead of a basketball game, it was a golf game, right? Aliens come down, they say, we're going to blow up your planet unless you play a golf game against us. And then everyone's like, Tiger, you're in. Do you think he could pull that off?
Yep.
I think so.
It works with Tiger, but it doesn't work with anyone else on the tour. And that's the thing.
It doesn't work with, like Justin Rose. Like, no, like there's...
Nope. Jordan Spieth can play, right? Jordan Spieth is a great player.
And he's
doesn't
cute,
work.
So...
Well, LeBron doesn't have it, right?
But he's got the personality of one of those Easter Island stone statues.
Well, some guys just don't got it, man. It's like, and people need to realize that, right? Like, you either got it or you don't.
But I will say that I do think that Tiger actually has like that it factor, though. Whatever that it factor is,
he can absolutely make a Space Jam. That I believe that.
Yeah,
no one else can.
It would be a great callback to the first Space Jam if they did it.
No, let's pretend the first Space, because we know LeBron James is a shit heel, right? Let's pretend the first Space Jam didn't exist. All right, capture that magic all over again. Like, Drex, do you remember how much magic was in that? Now, I was a kid when that movie came out, so it meant a lot to me.
Big deal. It was a big deal. I mean, it was the sports equivalent of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Oh gosh! Speaking of Space Jam,
speaking
of Space Jam, can we talk about eventually how R. Kelly ruined everyone?
Oh God! Here you go. So, Kat and I have been discussing a theory we have that all bad things, all degenerate nature in society comes directly from R. Kelly. And
Darth Lyskin's got a point. Happy Gilmore was also a great movie.
Yeah.
It's the only Adam Sandler movie that I will go out of my way to watch again.
It is really Happy Gilmore is a really good movie. I will say.
Slapshot.
Just get in the hole.
I still like The Waterboy as a guilty pleasure.
Drex.
I hate Adam Sandler.
You hate Adam Sandler?
He's terrible.
Oh, he's a terrible actor.
All of his movies are the same movie, man. However, there's something about The Waterboy. Yes. It just works. I don't know why it works, but it does.
Happy Gilmore's a movie that if I'm browsing through channels and I'm like, I don't know what to watch, and I see Happy Gilmore, yep, there we go. Now I know what to watch. Right?
Yeah, so Happy Gilmore is a good one.
I love Slapshot. That's my favorite hockey movie.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, we got to do a watch party sometime.
Well, speaking
guys, tell her what Slapshot's all about, man.
Well, speaking of sports, Kat, I had the question of how sports most relates to real life to you. Like when you look at just the nature of sports, how it operates. How do you feel sports operates in in terms of metaphorically to the real world that we live in?
Well, I think it gives you that like opportunity to take constructive criticism. And it's also like working like as a team, because it's not like there might be one person that messed up, but at the end of the day, like you kind of almost have to take it as like we all messed up.
Yep.
Yes, one person was responsible, but it was all of us. Like we didn't push him, we didn't call him out in practice, something like that. And then the constructive criticism of the day after or the Monday after when they're watching film being like, why'd you do that? And, they have to answer. I think that that's a big part of sports. I also think the team building, like, not necessarily like being an island, and at least in football regards, golf is a little bit different, but I remember playing golf in high school and it was a team sport at that point. And my teammates would come and watch my last hole.
Phrasing.
He's just being sick. He's listening to R. Kelly.
But no, I think that it develops that like ability to take criticism and also know that it's not the end of the world. Like it basically makes men.
Yeah.
Or it makes people just stronger internally. Because even if you're not a man, if you're a woman, like it just makes you stronger internally, being like, yeah, I can handle this criticism because I know that they're giving it to me for my own benefit.
Absolutely.
And it's not because of, granted, I guess there could be some cases, but it's not because they have anything against me. It's like, yeah, I messed up. I need to fix that. And they're trying to help me fix it.
Oh, absolutely. The nature, especially like you said, with team sports in particular, that whole, we win as a team and we lose as a team is important because you've seen this, right? Where the GOAT of one day can become the hero of the next day, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way the nature of sports. But one of the things that's disappointed me about sports, one of the reasons why I kind of turned it off, because I believe the degradation of the game has definitely occurred across all sports. It's gotten watered down. What is your feeling on the wokeness and the agenda that's invading sports?
Well, first off, I think it's already been invading because of Title IX. Mm-hmm. That was the first straw, in my opinion, because they were like, we can't have athletes having specific dorms, when in reality, the reason they had athletes in specific dorms, like, yes, it may have been nicer or whatever, but the reason was because the coaches could check to make sure they made curfew. Mm-hmm. It was a one-stop shop. Are they there? Are they not there? Do we need to go find them? Like, do we need to drag them out of a bar or not? That's what the main reason was. But Title IX got rid of that. The second thing, I guess, would be, I had a point, I forgot it. Oh yeah, okay. My next thing was going to be Colin Kaepernick. Because Colin Kaepernick ruined sports, in my opinion, when it comes to, Robert Goodell ruined it to begin with, but Colin Kaepernick ruined it even more by going on this whole like knee thing.
Yeah. So you saw what happened to the U.S. women's soccer team, right?
Oh yeah,
they were more focused on taking a knee than scoring goals.
Well, and also their lawsuit, they were ended up being paid more than the men were. So it's like the point's moot. Like, stop it. No one cares. But the whole taking the knee thing, I'm like, I understand wanting to make a statement. And I'm not going to criticize him for that. I am going to criticize him, though, on that he didn't offer any solutions or make a point to come up with a solution. Like, he didn't go to any police stations. He didn't go to talk to kids about like how to maybe prevent some of this stuff. He just was like, I'm just taking a knee.
It almost feels like when this happened, it almost looked like he wasn't paying attention and forgot to stand up.
Well, here's the thing.
And then he came up with the excuse afterwards.
No, here's the thing. He wasn't the starting quarterback during this because he was the lowest ranked quarterback before they switched out and got their second string to the first string. And he decided he was going to take a knee to make a statement. And that's what he became known for. Yeah. And that was the thing. I was like, look, he was the lowest ranked quarterback in the NFL that year. It was stupid and dumb. And I'm like, look, it's fine to make a statement. I don't really care about that. Because I will say, Tim Tebow did something very similar. And they're both making statements. It's kind of like, different sides of the same coin kind of thing. But he made himself a victim and didn't do anything. And then he was actually even offered a contract with the Browns and turned it down to have a contract with Nike for the kneeling stuff. And that's what ticked me off. Because he was like, no one's offering me a contract. It's like, no, you were offered a contract. Just not the contract you wanted. Like, piss off.
Well, that goes back into the agenda that I talked about, because you and I talked about that offline, where we're like, one of the big issues that I have is anytime someone says, everyone's against me, and you're like, okay, well, you say everyone's against you, and they present their case. And then you're like, oh, okay, so that's the deal. And then someone, people start coming out of the woodwork saying, hold on, man, we're not against him. We offered him X, Y, and Z. We can prove it. Do you know where this also happened with the porn star Mia Khalifa? Was playing the victim, right? So she claims that, porn is evil. She was taken advantage of. The industry uses girls. And she says she was only paid like $12,000 or $13,000, right? Then Bang Bros shows up and they're like, whoa, we got receipts. Because, remember, they have to file those for money, right? You 1099 forms, right? If someone comes to shoot a scene for you, you got to sign forms. So they show up and she was paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's like, okay, now what? See, and then that's when people start getting quiet, or they start screaming misogyny, right? They start saying whatever victim points they can get. It doesn't matter if it's the racism, if it's misogyny, whatever it may be. But and that was the issue that I think a lot of people over time start looking at Kaepernick. They say, wait a minute. So Cap, you want to be a starting quarterback. We get that. Remember, anyone can have a bad couple of years, right? Injuries, defenses adjust to you. You go back to the drawing board. His problem was he didn't want to say, I'm going to be a backup, learn how to be a better quarterback to try to get my opportunity to get back in there. You see what I'm saying? Well, he just was like, I deserve to be the guy.
I feel like his problem was that he didn't transition well, the same as Tim Tebow, which is why I like that comparison of them both kneeling, because I think that they both just did not transition very well in the NFL.
How did Bruce Jenner transition? How was his transition?
I mean, it's ugly.
I really do hope he becomes governor.
Yeah, it'd be fun, I guess.
Drex, would it be the greatest thing in the world to have a tranny in there as governor?
That's what I would like to see, because then the once again the agenda and the politics collapses on itself, right? Yeah. Because if you have a trans person who's conservative, you're kind of in this bizarro world where it's like, okay, well, if you vote against them, that means you are, you're transphobic, you're horrible, you're bigoted. And
Ellen went against Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, no one cares about Ellen. Not even Ellen cares. Not even Ellen's wife / girlfriend / husband. I don't even know what they are anymore. But it's exactly what they wanted, Drex. And Kat, you have to understand, Drex. So Drex's worldview is based on the idea of accelerationism. Right? You see the brick wall and you're driving towards it. Drexel will hit the accelerator.
Absolutely. I want it all to end.
No, I
want to
get
there
it.
in record time.
He's told me several times.
Well, because here's the thing. You're not going to get to where you need to go if you just keep on, just, no, pump the brakes. Let's just inch a little bit forward. Because that's really what we're doing right now, right? And the reason why I asked Kat about all this agenda and stuff is because, it leads into some of the more serious issues, which is, going forward, right? There's all this agenda in the schools, and there's a Wall Street Journal article that's gaining a lot of notice, and it's written by Douglas Belkin, right? September 6th. So just a couple of days ago, and it says a generation of American men give up on college, and it says I just feel lost. That's the heading. And it says a number of men enrolled at 2- and 4-year colleges has fallen behind women by record levels in a widening education gap across the U.S.
I mean, in all fairness,
go
there's always been more women in college, I feel like, at least in the recent era.
No, in the recent era, yeah.
In 2000s.
Historically, that wasn't true at all, right? Because women were staying at home.
Well, yeah,
kids.
but I
in
feel
the
like
modern era, yes.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because I'm like, I remember that statistic and being like, no, like there are more women in school because they're going to be like teachers or whatever, like, you know.
Yeah, and Drex, in Dick Masterson's book Men Are Better Than Women, back when he wrote that in the early 2000s, there was something like 56% of law school applicants were women. Or sorry, no, entrants. Law school entrants were women.
Oh, wow.
See, but here's the thing, though. Women don't stay. They don't stay the course. You know, Kat talked about this last time. Most women are in college for their MRS degree, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to find a husband. When you go to nursing school and stuff, if you ask these women what they really want, they don't want to be nurses for the next 50 years. No, they're looking for a doctor to marry, and that's not happening. So that's why when I read these articles like this, right? I look, even the first couple of sentences says something, right? It says men are abandoning higher education in such numbers that they now trail female college students by record numbers. Now, this is where the feminazis should be screaming, saying, "Oh my God, we need equality," but we all know it's not about equality, right? And this article talks about the education gap, and it says there's no reversal in sight, right? Women increased their lead over men in college applications for the 2021-2022 school year, right? By over 1 million. And I remember being recruited by San Diego when I was in JUCO, and one of their selling points was that the campus was basically 3/4 female, right? And they remember the way that you lure men, lure young men. You remember that, right?
Doing
They're like,
the same thing, though.
Yep.
I remember doing the same thing of like, this is the female to male ratio, because they would ask.
Yeah, dudes don't want to go to a school that's a sausage fest if they are young men who are, especially athletes and stuff, right? They're over there to, play as much poon as humanly possible. It is what it is. Or they're there for their education, or a little bit of both, depending. But, Kat, the reason why I brought that up in regards to that is because it goes into something that I think is much more sinister, much darker, much more pessimistic and ominous, which is, what do you see is the future of the education system?
I genuinely don't know. I don't think it's going to go good. I think part of that, though, is because of W. Bush with the No Child Left Behind policy, where they just pass kids.
Yep.
Because what are we going to do? And I don't like that. So I feel like that's definitely like one of the main problems. I also think you look at, if you're talking about athletes in particular, athletes get a pass for the most part. There might be some teacher that holds them to the coals or whatever and makes them do their work. But for the most part, they have an easy street. And once again, they're getting tutors from the athletic department that they don't have to pay for. They don't have to do anything. They're there and they're familiar with all the stuff that they're doing, and they're familiar with the professors. So like they know what they're looking for. And it's just, education is just kind of like screwed in my opinion.
What do you think about all of the earlier education, right? In terms of K through 12 and all that, what do you see as that as more agenda comes in?
No, it really does worry me. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I feel like they're changing things around, which might be for the better. I don't know. But like, I remember trying to help my cousin with his math homework, and it was like blocks, and you had to color it in to do the math problem. I'm like, I have no idea what this is. Like, what happened to just like 9 + 4? Like, this is weird. So I don't see it going well, because everyone has different opinions, and I transferred schools 3 times, and they all had different levels of things that they were doing, and I had to retake like the same class like several times. So I don't have a lot of faith in it. It's just kind of crappy all around. But the state I'm in is not great. Thank God for Mississippi.
Well, the reason why I have such an issue with the future of the education system, and that's why I highlighted that article. I'd implore you guys to go see it and check it out and read it, because I didn't want to just sit, because it's a longer article, a lot longer winded, but the basic crux is there. And people got to understand, all of this is interconnected, right? You have an issue where you have the woke agenda, the woke politics, and all of that, and that's all that it's getting about now, right? As that infests the education system, and more guys check out, right? And someone goes, well, Drex, why is this such a big deal? Well, Kat, guess what? Years from now, as guys check out, right? These women are going to get a whole bunch of student loan debt, right? They're going to go into college, get this huge student loan debt, and then those guys, the same guys who checked out and went and did their own thing, right? They found their own career, or maybe they just want to sit back and watch hentai and whack off and play video games, right? Whatever it is that they want to do, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to provide for women and provide for, of course, the state, which is why they're importing people, right?
Would you know what's funny about that is there was a guy I went to high school with. He was offered a scholarship for underwater welding because he did like the trade school thing in high school and was really good at it. He was really good at welding, and this company or college offered him a full ride for underwater welding. He was going to make like $80,000 the first year after graduation. Yep. And he turned it down because of a girl. And the girl ended up breaking up with him.
Of course. What a fool.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm on like the micro thing of like, I think everyone should go to some kind of secondary education, but I don't think it has to be a 4-year college.
Of course not. Well, there's a bigger thing that's at stake here, which will lead into the next point, which is, okay, as more guys drop out and they go and do their own thing, what's going to happen though is that, because of women's hypergamy, they're going to view themselves as better than, even though they're broke as shit with a huge loan debt. And they'll look at a guy who, let's say a guy is a blue collar guy, or he's starting his own business. He's doing a trade. He's in the trades, right? He could be making that 80 grand, right? As starting first year as an underground or underwater welder, right? A woman who's a 4-year graduate will say like, oh, he's beneath me, right? He's just a underground, I keep saying underground, underwater welder, right? She will look at him as less than, because that's female nature. And there's going to be a lot of problems when you deal with that, because there's going to be that fewer women that are going to even find an MRS degree. Because, I mean, Kat, we talked about this. If the numbers were that imbalanced when you were in school, right, and they were that imbalanced when I was in school, well, guess what? 10, 20 years from now, depending on how much longer the United States is still a country, right? Yeah. If you think about where the trend is going, what happens when girls go to college and as more guys check out? What happens when the split is 85-15, right? 90-10. Then what do you do? Yeah. It's just nothing but a female, it's nothing but an egg fest, right? No sausage fest, it's an egg fest. Nothing but females at campus, right?
And as soon as that happens, they're going to stop going, because what is the number one way to get yourself up to your eyeballs in women? Put up a sign that says no women allowed.
Absolutely. And the women are going to flock. And Tim, it's great you say that, because that actually leads to some of the questions I have for Kat here that we didn't get to last time. Kat, you and I have had plenty of conversations. We talk on here, and I have a question for you, which is what are the things that you believe like the red pill and the manosphere get right and wrong about female nature versus male nature?
That was one of the ones you sent me that I honestly had the hardest time with.
Can we start at the German Shepherd?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I bring it up is this. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just hard because it's like the female nature, at least for me, it's I want to be a quote unquote stay-at-home mom. Like, I want to just I just want to raise my kids.
Now, hold on now, Kat. We got to call you out and all other modern women. Modern women say that, but let me ask you this: as a general rule of thumb, if we keep hearing women say that, yes or no, do their actions correlate with what they say they want? Yes or no, in general?
No.
Okay, so what are they doing then? So what are women doing?
They're doing hoe shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is
they're
doing
in
hoe
college
shit
getting ran through.
Yeah. So watch this. So Kat, is doing hoe shit conducive to being a stay-at-home mom?
No, it's not. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I wasn't doing hoe shit though in college.
Oh, I get it. But see the thing, it's not even about just college.
If I didn't know anything about you, right?
Mhm.
And the only thing I have is the average experience of women in college, and you told me, well, I'm not like that. I mean, could you forgive me for not believing you?
Well, me and Drex have actually talked about this. And like, yeah, I get like why guys don't believe women whenever they say like, I'm not like the other one.
Yeah, because they all say that. And this is important because Kat, here's the thing. When you hear this content, when you know a lot of women get in, you know, they get their panties in a bunch because this is basically what's starting to happen, what you're starting to see. And I've talked to Bowser about this, right? And guys like Darth, we talk about this. This is the real crux of what you're seeing. What women have finally realized is that guys are starting to become like them. And here's what I mean by that. Women don't love, okay? They're not capable of love. What they are capable of are transactional relationships, right? Mm-hmm. You provide this. That's the Duluth model, right? Like when people ask, where does all this stuff come from, right? Braffo's law, Duluth model. Women don't get like watch this, Kat. Guys will get with a woman who's literally worth $0, right? She has no money, no status, no nothing. A guy will take her in, build her life up. He'll build a family with it. Women look at a guy who's beneath them as, gross, due to your nature, hypergamy, right? Mm-hmm. And what ends up happening is women were using guys for foodie calls. They're using guys for X, Y, and Z. And then so what started happening is more and more guys are now doing the same thing women do, right? They have no feelings because that's how women view men. Like, how can I use this guy to get ahead? So guys started doing the same thing. Like, oh, rather than be used, I'm gonna flip this. And whether like Rollo Tomasi says spinning plates and all this stuff, guys. So this is where you start hearing women say that all these guys are playing games or none of them are serious, right? And the reason why you're seeing that is because when women want guys to believe in love, so they can be more easily manipulated. You see how that works? If guys are all with like Coach Greg Adams says, the hope strategy, they can be easily manipulated. So what I do want to ask you is, you know, as a follow-up question, is that you know, what does the red pill and the manosphere get right about male and female relationships?
I think it gets the general gender roles. I mean, I do think that women, I really don't know where all this stuff, I understand like wanting some kind of independence and all that, but I'm also like, no, it's more of a team effort, I guess. It's going back to sports, I guess, in some ways. Like, no, it's a team. Like, you know, you're the woman is the assistant coach and the man is the head coach. Whereas, like,
that's not what we see, though, right?
But no, you don't see it. But I'm saying, but like that's like the like ideal in my mind of like, it's the like I can give my opinion and it can be considered, but at the end of the day, the guy is going to do what the guy's going to do, or the man. Yeah,
the man is going to act logically, not off emotion. He's going to take what you say because you may be given some insight that he may have missed, right? Yeah. And women are much more socially adept at picking up on like signs. That's why if you and I walk into a ballroom and we're mingling amongst people, right? And you will pick up on social cues more than likely much better than I do because women really thrive in the social world, right? Oh, did you see the way that girl looked at you? That's why. Have you ever noticed a lot of guys? And shout out to our man Lex about this, about how dense he admits how dense he was, right? Where he says, I didn't know if a girl liked me, right? Like, because guys communicate directly. So if you want to, if you want a guy to respond to you, you tell him directly that you like him. Whereas women will do this non-verbal communication. Guys like, oh, I thought she was just fluffing her hair, or she seemed kind of nice. I don't know. I don't know if she liked me or not. Whereas the women will go, oh, I gave him all the signs. Why didn't he do anything? You see what I'm saying? So you do see that, and you and I have talked often about this. And as we go down this path, Kat, where do you see men and women in the next 10 years, right? Just as a general statement, like your average guy, your average gal, where do you see both sexes in the next 10 to 20 years?
Unfortunately, I see them where you tend to talk about it, where it's just like men doing their own thing, because it prevents them from being Me Too'd. It keeps them their job. It protects them. It's like, no, I'm not doing like these weird relationships or inner office, whatever it is. It's like, yeah, no, just off the board. I think women are going to be very shocked and disappointed, which I think they also already are, by the lack of interest. But it's like, but do you know what you're doing?
Yeah. Like when the world runs out of simps, the thought apocalypse will be upon us.
Yeah, it's just, I think that it's a lot of women being like, I want to be independent, I want to do all this stuff. It's like, no, you don't. And it's fine, you don't. But you don't.
They always admit it in the long run, right? You ever notice that the same...
that girl from Sex and the lady who wrote Sex in the City.
Yeah,
and
Candace Bushnell. They always come around. They say, "All I really want is a family and to be taken care of." It's like, why didn't you just say that up front? Like, you should have said that when you were 18, right?
The wall was not kind to her.
Oh, it was not. But that's what happens.
Banks.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And the reason why I say that, Kat, is because that leads into the follow-up question: where do you see relationships in the next 10 to 20 years? Between men and women?
I think there might be there will still be some far and few between. I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't see a lot of guys taking that risk with the Me Too stuff. I mean, like, it's not only a reputation ender, it's a career ender.
It'd be a life ender.
It's a life ender. Yeah, it's literally a life ender.
Yeah,
so is the court, though. Like, we always just say that the courts, we say the courts in general, because you hear women saying, we want marriage, and then guys keep on saying, well, when are you guys going to change these laws? And women are like, wait, huh? What laws? What? If you really love me, you would just marry me and just hope for the best. And it's like, yeah, no, right? So think about this for a second, Kat. The girls who are 20 now, right? Let's look at it like this. Let's look at all women who are age 20 right now today, right? September 2021. They're all 20. Okay, where are these women going to be when they are 30? And where are these women going to be when they are 40? Right?
Yeah.
And you see them every day. I see them every day. The same girls who talk about all the attention they get and all the X, Y, and Z and all the relationships they've been in, the hookups. That's the only culture they really know, because there's no more real relation. I talk to people from all age groups. They tell me it's basically done. Like, there are no real, monogamous relationships anymore. That's over. So
it's basically a transaction. Like,
it's purely transactional.
We're gonna get to a point where you meet up a Tinder date, right? You scan her QR code consent app.
Yep.
Take her back to a smashing booth. It's like the suicide booth. In fact, they're right beside each other, and that's it. You complete the transaction, you pay for the dinner, and then you're gone.
Yeah, look, people can say, here's the thing though, Tim, it's not going to be dinner anymore. And Kat, Tim, there may be someone out there who thinks Tim is being insane.
Drex, it's instead of paying for dinner, it's scan the app to subscribe to her OnlyFans.
Yeah, for real. Like,
yep, that's what it will be. That's the future of transactional relationships.
The people may listen to that, they listen to that and they think, oh, that's just too far, beyond any form of normalcy, right? But think about it. You look at like Koopa said, like, you look what happened to poor Aziz Ansari. A bad date can get you a Me Too case, right?
Oh yeah.
So eventually, what guys are going to do is they're going to go, okay, well, we need to, remember, prostitution is going to be decriminalized first, right? And then they're going to just have to fully legalize prostitution, because what you're going to see is what Tim just described. I want you to imagine a world, Cat, 10 to 20 years from now, where everything between men and women is 100% transactional. There's no like, hey, Kay, let's get to know each other. Let's go out to do this. It's going to be like this. The guy's going, yo, I need to get the D wet. How much? Right? And she has, like he said, you can scan her little code and you're like this. Ooh, that's out of my price range. Maybe she can negotiate price. Maybe she doesn't, right?
Could you imagine like Google glasses? Drex, could you imagine a Google glass and then there's like a dollar sign over her head and it tells you how much the minimum, right? She goes into her app and says the minimum you will spend on her to get in her pants.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah, there's gonna be a ceiling and a floor. Yeah, look, there will be a ceiling and a floor, and this is why I've talked to Kat about this, and I said, Kat, you look at the choices that a lot of women have made, right? And they say they want marriage and kids and stuff, and then you look at and I also got to say this about the guys too. The guys can't say they want some hot girl when they don't put in any work either, because there is this kind of like this intersection, right, where you end up getting a bunch of guys out there who are like this. They are just as entitled as some of the feminazis, right? They'll be like, well, Drex, I want a girl to be hot. It's like, yeah, but dude, okay, let's look at it like this.
You're 400 pounds.
Yeah, you can't be 400 pounds broke and demanding that you have a supermodel wife. That doesn't make logical sense, right? But one of the things that you will notice, though, and Kat, you and I have talked about this, women, oftentimes you hear them, when you ask women, hey, what do men want? Kat, we've talked about this. A lot of women swear they have no clue, right? I don't know what men want. I have no clue at all. What do you have to say about the women out there who truly will look you in the face and say they have no clue what men want?
I think they just want like attention and sex.
Yeah, men are simple. And, here's what makes men so easy to deal with, right? This is the beauty. It's the exact same for every single guy. So you don't have to worry about downloading a software patch, right? They're all the same. Like, whereas woman to woman, there's a huge gap in what they truly want. Like, here's the thing. Women will say they want one thing and then flip and say they want something different, like literally the next day, right? The next hour.
Yeah.
Guys just want the exact same shit, right? So the reason why that's so important is that as Tim is talking about how we get more transactional, you're seeing that now, right? With the OnlyFans and this and that. Well, think about it. How have you noticed? You and I talk often about the fact that there's a whole lot of issues where women can get hookups easy. Women can get simps in their DMs easy, right? All that comes easy. What is it that keeps eluding women so much nowadays in 2021? What is it that they want that they just can't get? What is it?
I mean, I guess I'm going to say like whatever standard they have in their head.
Well, it's a relationship.
Yeah, relationship, but
like a real relationship, right? Like an exclusive real. So you're starting to see these women. Look, ask any modern woman. Look, she can go on her phone right now. If she wanted sex, she can get it. If she wants a bill paid, she can get it. If she wants a simp to validate her and call her beautiful, she can get it. But when it comes to that relationship, and here's a real black pill. This divide, Kat, you and I have talked about this, right? How many men do you think are going to be virgins 10 to 20 years from now, right?
Oh,
we talk about how bad it is now. Where do you see this going, right? In terms of like the sexual marketplace.
It's not going to go well. I don't know. I think there'd probably be more. Like,
I think it's going to be significantly higher because you're going to have to add in.
More virgins, like, right?
Yeah. So many more guys won't get laid literally at all. They will get zero female attention, right?
It's just because also it's just like, why even take the risk?
Yep.
It's really high already.
Yeah, dude, it's over a third, man. Yeah, over a third of young men, Kat, have zero action.
You remember going to high school, Kat? You remember guys? Every guy would be like, "Oh no, I have sex all the time. I get laid all the time." Right? That's the kind of thing you would lie about.
Oh no, the guys that I knew, they were actually getting laid because I knew the girls that they were laying, and they ended up with UTIs.
But you know what I mean, right? That was something
Yeah,
that
no, I
guys
know.
always
Yeah,
lied about. Now there's a third out there who actually admit, and Drex, we know the actual number's higher.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Those are the ones who just admit it.
Oh, absolutely.
I was also like hanging out with football players, so
Yeah.
they were.
Now I posted in Premium Chat. It's a little bit up now. Drex, I posted 2 things that came from OkCupid, and it was a study on the amount of messages versus their perceived attractiveness that men and women send each other. Look at the male one. All right. The dotted line represents the attractiveness on a scale of 0 to 5. Right?
Oh, yeah, women don't even find these guys attractive at all.
Oh, but look at the distribution. It's almost a perfect bell curve.
Yep.
Right? Most women are medium. You've got a bunch of smoking hot, 10s, and a bunch of gutter broads.
Yep.
And then the solid line is how many inbox messages those women get. That's and notice that it goes up and up and up, but it hits a spot, and then you're too hot, and most guys are like, well, she's out of my league, so it goes back down again.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Now, to you and me, this looks logical, right?
Yep.
Most guys won't message a woman who's clearly out of their league. And the whole point of rating people on a 1 to 10 scale is because you want a fairly normal distribution because it's a relative scale. Drex, it's a relative scale. There's no one who's objectively beautiful. It's all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at the one underneath it. The dotted line represents how women rate men, and over something like 60% of men are a 2 or less.
Oh yeah. Okay, so if you were to ask women
also,
to,
I'm gonna
go ahead.
About this, but go on.
Ahead.
No, because there is the golden rule, where there is like objective attractiveness. It's just the golden rule.
Sure, but all of this rating on a scale thing is subjective, right? The woman I rate a 5 is not the same woman Drex rates a 5.
There's a whole documentary about this, and it's about proportions, but it's the golden rule. I forget what the documentary was called, but it was a documentary about the golden rule.
Oh yeah.
And it goes about like how like people can be objectively attractive, but it's based on face, and then there's also like body components as well. Like,
well, the most biological thing is attractiveness is beside who do you think would make an appropriate breeding partner if you want to drill it down to its most basic component.
Well, yes, basic component, yes, but there are also people that are just objectively attractive.
Like men look for a fertile woman. Right?
Yeah.
One with good genetics.
They want the hips. They should want the hips. Like, oh, those are birthing hips.
Yeah. Legs that go all the way up.
Yeah. So
which tend to a more pronounced. Anyways, I'm getting myself warmed up here. And then for women, their ideal mate is someone who can provide the greatest chance of survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to bring them food? Who's going to protect them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very simple. And here's the thing. All of this started getting put upside down once you globalize the sexual marketplace. That's where the problem came, right? It's the globalization of the sexual marketplace. Once a girl had the internet at her fingertips, right? The guy had the internet at his fingertips, but due to women's hypergamy, all your average guy can get is, jerking off to porn. But the girl can get attention, and she can get smashed by a dude who lives, way over here, way over there. So that became easy, right? That's why these girls are getting flown out and blah, 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 right? I mean, look at the prime example. Kat and I talk about this. If you go on campus, the star athlete of the football team has no problem, as I call it, dumpster diving, right? A guy has no problem smashing a strong 4 on a slow Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
No problem. He's like, real thing. Yeah, sure. He feels no remorse. Here's the thing. He doesn't want a commitment from her. He's like, I'm not trying to date her. I mean, I just need to get the D wet. It was a slow Tuesday. I got in off practice, took a shower, and I was like, just kind of, she's right down the hall, right? She's in the dorm across from me. Why not? That's how guys think. If it's available, sure, why not, right? So
some guys are like, I don't even need the original limbs attached.
Yeah, Koopas of the world. Well, and all of this is to say that there's this we can call it a gender war, but like it's going to be nothing but proxy battles between. Honestly, it's going to be amongst women and the trans community going forward. The guys are out, right? Guys are out of the so-called gender war. So like you're not fighting guys anymore. I mean, think about it. A guy can't. A guy cannot argue with you anymore, right? Isn't that what women as a collective wanted? That guys aren't allowed to say anything, right? No criticism.
I mean,
or like that. Biden's press secretary told a reporter when asking about Biden's stance on abortion, and she just straight up said, "Look, you can't get pregnant, okay? So don't even ask me about this, or don't talk to me about this, right?" Which I think was very transphobic, Drex. See, I'm telling you, it's the Uno reverse card.
That might as well be. It's going to be a beautiful thing going forward because I look at what's going on with this, right? And it's something that I talked to Kat about, where I say, well, Kat, look, as you see all these agendas and you see this stuff going on, and Kat has even said, like, hell, I mean, even when it comes to in the dating market, Kat is very knowledgeable about sports, right? She's a sports girl, and that can actually be a detriment in the dating market, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I don't know if you're talking to Tim or me, but
always you. Yeah. I'm just the producer. For some reason, I always put myself in a lot longer than I belong.
No, but it is because they get like a weird inferiority complex because I'm like, oh, like, yeah, you want to talk about sports? I can go all day. Like, which one do you want to talk about?
It makes a lot of guys weird. I mean, it doesn't make me weird, but I understand why it makes a lot of guys weird. But like, one of the things that is troubling, right? And I was at the state fair and I saw this was, I'm going to be honest with you. One of the thing that really bothered me was the social awkwardness on both sides, right? These guys I've never seen when I was growing up. Like I said, maybe it was because we had no internet growing up, right? It came into our life later. But I'm noticing a lot of the young men out here are very, very socially awkward, right? I'm like, stop being so fucking weird, okay? Stop. Okay? This is what I said. This is what I tell these dudes because look, Kat, I've talked to you about this, right? You have a lot of guys out here saying things about how, the girls are weird, and yet you can look at the text message and you're like, dude, you're being weird. Like I don't know how to tell you. You're being really weird. Now, on the flip side, right? On the flip side, I look at the women, these young girls. Kat, they're equally socially awkward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, when you can go around some girls. Let's say girls between, how about 35 and younger? How socially adept are they, right? Because they're demanding a man, show up and he's, like I said, we're not talking about dad bod guys. We're talking about, they're saying, hey, you got to be buff, you got to have money, you got to, have a big D, you got to have all these things.
It's not even just that. Like, I had a cousin that had a baby from another person, and got proposed to and turned him down because she's like, I just don't like him. I'm like, he's willing to raise your kid and take care of you, because they were also loaded.
There's never any justice for simps, and I love it.
I was like, you're an idiot for not taking him up on that, but okay.
Well, it's one of those weird things because we're getting to this like, it's like a crest, right? We're at this tipping point where something's got to give, right? Guys are going to check out of the market, right? All markets, right? The dating market, the job market, let's say traditional job market, right? As you're seeing more and more guys check out, women are doubling down and their standards are going up, not down. You are hearing a lot of women say their standards are going down, right?
Oh, no, definitely not.
So something's got to give, because otherwise, what happens, right? What happens when these women get, remember what I said earlier, 10 to 20 years from now? I'm going to tell you right now, the only relationship most women are going to get is going to be a simp. And Kat, we've talked about this. Is there any woman out there who wants a simp for a boyfriend or a husband?
No, there's not. That's the thing. Like, that's what, like we want someone who's sensitive. We want someone who's like this. Like, no, you don't. You just want someone who's not a complete asshole.
She wants all the benefit of a boyfriend without actually having to put out.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like, it's just, I don't understand what the thing that women are wanting right now, like, based on what I'm seeing. Because it really does look to me. You know, they say, like, I want a sensitive guy. I want him to be able to cry. I'm like, no, you don't.
And what happens when they get that? When they get a sensitive guy, tell me what happens.
Get turned off, and
You get cheated
like,
on.
oh, was it? You don't want that, and that's fine. And I think it's okay for a guy to cry, like, for certain things.
No.
Well, for certain things, yes.
Okay, no. The only acceptable time to cry, Drex, is when your team gets eliminated from the playoffs.
No, that's not an acceptable time to cry. I'm talking about death of an immediate family member. That's fine to cry.
Oh no, man, my mama could die. I wouldn't cry. I'd be fucking bummed about it. I'd be pissed, but I wouldn't cry.
To cry. I'm just saying, like, that's the acceptable time to cry.
No.
But I like, we want, like, a sensitive, like, no, you don't. You want an alpha guy. You want a guy that's gonna, like, go out and, like, he's gonna kind of put you in your place, but not in, like, in a mean way, but in a hot way. Like, where
all right, describe what a hot way is for all those guys out there listening who don't know what a hot way is.
Like, they just, I don't know, just being, like, alpha personality, being like, yeah, no, like, we're not doing that. Or, like, hey, I get it, you're upset, but, like, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, well,
like,
here's what not to do, right? You don't want the guy to be like, hey, Kat, can I rub your shoulder? Is it okay if I touch your shoulder?
You don't.
I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable or anything.
Hey, it's fine that you're crying. It's like, no, like, because sometimes it is fine to cry. Other times it's like, yeah, no, like, nut up, bitch.
Or, okay, so what? Something. So if the guy calls you at like 2 a.m. and is crying, saying, "But I just want you. You're my only one. You're my queen."
Oh God, I would be so annoyed.
but then that's what you would do, right? Meanwhile, guys are like, "Look, we don't want her to have a body count measured in the hundreds or the thousands."
Yeah,
and they're like, "It's a misogynist."
Yeah.
Well, there's no going back from that. The damage will already be done. But when it comes to what Kat is saying about, you know, some of these standards that guys and gals are seeking, Kat, you keep seeing that the woman standard will change and change and change, right? Yeah. And so, guys, and you know, you and I have talked about this. Where do you know, this kind of goes into what we talked about earlier. Where do you see the nature of eating consent going from here? Do you see it going to the level of what Tim said with a QR code scan?
I almost really do. I think that is where it's going to end up being, because there's too many girls being like, oh, I was drunk and whatever.
Or I was pressured into it.
Yeah. And it's like, no, you weren't, sweetheart. And also he was drunk too. So, like, you just made a bad choice. It's fine, I guess.
You were a hoe, and then you got caught being a hoe, and now you're like, oh, he raped me.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I really can't stand all that. But yeah, no, I see it being maybe not a QR code, maybe it is, but like something where it's just like there's some kind of agreement.
Hey, Drex, maybe Jerry Falwell Jr. shows up with a consent form.
Yeah, right. Well, I've told
the snack tray and the clipboard.
Well, going forward, if I've told you guys right here, if you guys want a relationship in the future, you will be a cuck, not figuratively, literally, as in it's going to be legal for women to have multiple men, right? It will not. It will be illegal for you to have multiple women if you are in the confines of marriage. That is the future. And we're seeing that. I mean, think about all the incentives favor her in the divorce, right?
Okay. So, but is there a counterpoint for the prenup, maybe?
Oh no, they judges
throw it out
use
all
they
the
throw
time.
that out all the time. They
Really?
literally use it as ass wiping paper. It's literally worthless to have a prenup. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Kat. You hear about all these guys getting. Look, prime example. Dr. Dre had a prenup, right? Why is he paying his ex-wife $300,000 a month right now? Why is he doing that?
Because he lives in New York.
No, he's in California. It doesn't matter. California, New York,
Wife was in New York.
Montana, same thing.
A lot of these states where you hear guys getting divorced, raped, and their kids are getting taken from them. Look at what's happening in Texas, right? Sophie Long. We got all this weird stuff going on.
The dad's got to pay for his James Younger.
Yeah, he's got to pay for his son's transition because the mom is going to transition their son into a girl. Hormone blockers. Yeah, he was court ordered. Let that sink in. In Red State, Texas, a man is being court ordered because his, demonic, vindictive ex-wife is going to turn their son into a girl. And there's nothing he can do. He's cucked by the state.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you view all women as evil? And I know the answer is going to be no, but like...
I have an easy answer for that.
Is it just society? Or
all women are not evil. But I will say this. I truly believe this with all my heart. Women are incapable of being good. By default, women are amoral. That's their default setting, is to be amoral, right? That's why. So, Kat, you've heard me say.
I really can't disagree with that.
Okay, look, watch this. If shit hits the fan, women will lay down with the same men who just killed their fathers, brothers, nephews, sons, right? Without any hesitation. Okay.
And where's the proof, you ask? Well...
Throughout history, let's go through every war in history, right? Okay, so why does a woman do this?
Like that's a point I really can't disregard. Like I'm like, yeah, you got one there.
All right, Kat, watch this. As a collective, in general, yes or no? Will women lay down their life for people they don't know? Yes or no? As a collective.
Me, no. I mean,
no, we're saying in general, women in general. Do they lay down their life? Remember, love. How you measure love?
Yeah, no.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
I mean,
are you willing to lay it all on the line? Risk your life for a random stranger?
Random stranger, no.
Do you know who does do that consistently, day in, day out?
Guys.
Men. Hey, watch this. Military, firefighters. Hey, when there's a hurricane, do you know who you see going in there rescuing children and women?
Those guys.
Big buff dudes. Literally. And that, yeah, not even buff. Is that always? Yeah, so where's all the women? Where's all the women? Why aren't they helping?
I've seen plenty of women drive pickup trucks. They could easily drive through that
why are they
street
helping?
and go get people.
No, but I remember that's one of the not this past hurricane, but one of the other ones that hit Texas. They were just like a roadblock of just trucks with trailers with boats on them to help try to get people out.
Oh yeah, the Houston, the one that flooded Houston.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah,
JJ Watt was doing stuff.
Right? Who's going on TV raising money for them?
Harvey. Now, Kat, here's why that's important. Phil talked about this. He said the only time women do something that is quote unquote good, there has to be an audience. They don't just do altruistic things when there's no validation attached to it, no attention attached to it, right?
I believe that, yeah.
And okay, so I keep finding so Kat, I want you to tell me, are women capable of being good? Because everything you're saying, you're agreeing with me. And so I'm pointing out all the things that make men, right? Because when men do bad, would you agree that men will put down, as in take their life, bad men, evil men? Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When women do evil, do women put down evil women? Yes or no?
No, they don't.
Okay, so tell me what makes women good. Tell me what do they do that you can say, yes, this is why women are good because of reasons.
I've never made the statement that women are good. But
well, we can't. We can't.
but now you're starting to see the point, right? Okay, so everything the red pill talks about.
I get your point. I can't I've never said it, and I also I believe it because I've known enough women. I will say there are good people who are women, but it's not because they are women. They are good people. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you know when women are good? When men are holding them accountable, or there is social credit and validation attached to it. They will not ever do anything altruistically. So a prime example, I can wake up tomorrow and just want to do good shit in the world, right? I don't have a camera with me. You guys know I'm not on social media. Don't believe me? Hey, I want you guys to go on social media right now and see. When men are taking pictures, do you know what they take pictures of, Kat? The world outside. That's where the camera's facing, right? Outwards, right? When females take pictures, where's the camera facing?
To themselves.
Why?
Holy shit, that actually blew my mind, Drex. I'm like, go through your phone right now.
Go through your phone.
Everyone
Yeah,
go through your phone right now.
If I were to go through, if I were to go through my phone, okay, prime example. I was in Colombia, right? I don't have any selfies in Colombia, right? Oh no, I do have a couple because I had reached the top of I'm not gonna call it a mountain or whatever. It's this rock. I forgot where it is. Miss Colombia,
and he blew his back out doing it.
Yeah. But when I reached the top of that, right, because it's a big deal. It's a huge tourist attraction, right? It was like, hey, I reached the top, so and it's a great view, right? So I happen to be in the frame. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm not joking. Every single pic from my trip, it doesn't matter what trip I'm on, right? I went to Charlotte to go hit roller coasters, and when my daughter reached 54 inches tall, I took her on a roller coaster tour around the nation, right? Mm-hmm. The camera's always faced outward. So when people are like, well, Drex, where's all the pictures of you? I don't take pictures of myself. But if I go through any woman's phone, there's 5 million selfies, right?
Drex, that really did blow my mind because I'm going through my phone right now. Like Kat, I mentioned earlier about mountain climbing, right?
Yep.
I've got hundreds of photos of being up on mountains, of which maybe 5 of them are of me, and it's at the summit.
It's at the summit because you achieved something, and you're saying, "Hey, look, I'm at the summit." But here's the thing, though, Tim. How much of you is in the frame versus the mountain versus the view? You see what I'm saying?
It depends. I didn't have a selfie stick, so.
Here's the thing. If you had a selfie stick, you wouldn't put the selfie stick right at your face. You would point it as high as you could.
Oh, look at all this view.
Look at this view. I'm just part of it.
Hold on, Drex. You see my Instagram?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your pictures. They're a little homely. You're hanging with the peeps.
Yeah.
Right. But remember this though, Kat. The exception to the rule proves the rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does. Well, when you actually go out of your way to be like, hey, whoa, mine's not like that. And it's like, well, that just proves it. Because all of us expect the other one. Yeah,
Kat, you admitted yourself that you don't like hanging around women, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, why? Aren't women good?
No,
aren't they great?
No.
So Kat, this is what
each other.
we talk about. We try. Look, here's the thing. We try. We really do. We try to give you guys. We're trying to throw you a bone, right? Like we literally. I have the bone in my hand, right? I'm trying to throw it to women.
Phrasing.
I'm trying to throw it. Like, look, just show me something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I'm like I said, I'm being. You know me. We've talked plenty. I'm very fair. I call out dudes. I call out women.
You are.
I keep looking. Just look, I got the bone in my hand. I'm trying to throw it. Show me what women do on a day-to-day basis that they're not trying to put people down who aren't doing what they're doing. They're not doing something for social validation, right?
Yeah. Speaking of that, so Drex, I have a fun game that you want to play. Every time you see a man who does good for the social validation, right, for the audience, they're not alphas. They're not red pills. They're beta, turbo bottom, cucked simps.
Pretty much.
Right? Drex, the same attitude that said, you killed my father, husband, brother, and son, but I'm going to lay down for you. Right? That same attitude is reflected when someone says, I'm not a stepdad, I stepped up.
Yep. Well, here's the thing.
On Facebook,
so Kat, love is sacrificial, right? So the highest degree of love is sacrificial, and we talked about this with TFM. Kat, if I want to get information out of you, if I want to break you as a woman, I torture you, right? I threaten you personally, right?
Okay.
Do you know how you break men? How do you break a man? What will cause him to break? Men are stern. They're stoic. Think about your own father. What could someone threaten if someone is threatening your father?
Well,
right?
I mean,
like, we're going to do this. What is it that you do? How do you break him?
He threatened to take away. My mom threatened to take me away, and
that's right. You threaten a man's what he loves most, his attachments. That's how you break men. To break women, you just go after them because they don't care about the attack. They don't care about their husbands, their kids. They don't really care.
Oh yeah.
How do you I know this? This has been proven in study after study. That's how you go after women.
Hostage situation.
Yeah. I don't care about them.
Every hostage.
I don't care about them. So once again, Kat, I'm going to ask you yet again. Prove to me that women are capable of good. Unsupervised, which means not a guy being around. There's no cameras around. They just get up and say, hey, we are going to go out there, risk our lives for people we don't know. Hey, when those boys are trapped in a cave in Thailand, we are going to risk our lives, ladies. Is that what women do?
No.
Who's out there risking their lives? And two of those guys ended up dying to save boys they didn't even know. They've never met, never even knew their name. Right? Who did that?
Must have been guys.
All men. Elon Musk built a damn boy-sized submarine. Do you remember that?
He invented a new machine
yes.
to try and help.
Kat, I want you to look it up. Look it up. Elon Musk, who's a very busy man, right? He's running what is it? He's got Tesla,
SpaceX.
He's got the Boring Company with flamethrowers. He's got his obviously it was a SpaceX, right? Elon Musk has all of these companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a man as busy and in demand as Elon Musk, hearing about something halfway across the world, stopping everything he does. And he actually built it. It is Google Elon Musk boy-sized submarine. He literally built. And that's the thing, though. At least, he said it didn't happen the way you think it did. But here's the thing, though. The man took the time out to do something proactive, right?
Mm.
He did something. He didn't just sit there and go like this. Oh, that sucks. When there's a burning building, the guys don't say, someone call the cops, call the firemen. They actually risk their lives. See how that works?
Yes. No, and I understand that.
Rex, how many guys have died trying to break up bar fights?
Yep. And so Kat, what we teach over here is for men to stop doing this, stop being so sacrificial, right? Because there's nothing comes out of it, right? You see what I'm saying? Nothing comes out of it because here's the thing. They call anyone with a dick between their legs that doesn't identify as trans, they call them toxic, right? Toxic masculinity. Okay. So guys are still putting their lives on the line, right?
Yeah.
For what? Well, you know your dad, right? He doesn't get praised.
He doesn't even intervene in like high school fights anymore. Mm-hmm. Or he never did. But because he's just like, why would I? Like, I could end up getting hurt, and like, what's the point? He's like, I'm just gonna let them finish it, and then they'll be in trouble, whatever. He's like, I'm not getting involved.
Now, is that what men used to do?
Probably
in years
not.
Past?
Probably not. I mean, but he did this. This was at least like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, like if your dad was younger and could probably put up a good fight, he'd probably step in.
I don't think he would even then because it kind of goes back to the college thing. Like they had like a different mentality. Like of like, look, this isn't my fight. I'm just gonna let you guys finish, and then once you're done.
The thing too is most of the time when two guys are fighting, you let them settle it, and then we all go for beer after.
Yeah.
Right, because it's over. Right, men don't have grudges the same way women do.
That's a fair statement.
That's the reason why. Like that's why we have the fight. The fight is the start and the end of the disagreement.
Well, Kat, I keep looking for this good, right? Mm-hmm. I keep looking for women to do all this good. I keep looking. I'm asking you, help me out. Show me that they're doing it for altruistic reasons, right? They just got up and said there was no camera rolling. No one knew what they did. They just went out there and got it done.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
I don't really have a reason.
So, once again.
I never disagree with you, though, in the first place.
You don't.
Well, for the audience, too, we do have to... Because there are still people in the comments who think that, Drex, you're making this up. This isn't how it is. It's just the people you hang out with.
No. You'll see women, and this is one of the reasons why, of course, in the family court, why they want the kids. They want the kids for control and to hurt dad. Leverage. They're just pawns.
Oh yeah, that's what I was to my mom.
It's all of them. Look, you're not gonna hear women in court going like this. It's in the best interest of the child for us to not fight. We're just gonna sign the papers. It didn't work out, but it's all about. Those cases are so rare that when they do happen, judges, everyone in the court, they're shocked. They're like, wait a minute. You just want to, the relationship didn't work out, but you guys are going to co-parent. There's not going to be any money exchange. You guys are going to handle your business. You're going to make sure the kid is provided for and taken care of. There's not going to be any beefing. If a judge, they would be, who's usually the one trying all of this weirdo stuff, right? Accusing him of X, Y. It's her.
Yeah.
She's accusing him of, oh, he did this to the kids. He touched this way. He did that. And it's like, wait a minute. Is that really what happened? Right?
Yeah.
Lawyers are assholes. Just look at Nick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick.
No, but the lawyer was even like, he went back. The lawyer for my mom was like, yeah, like you kind of have to do this because like she requested it, and if that's really is how she feels, then like there's nothing we can really do.
Well, anyways, Drex, we've been going 2 hours here.
I don't know how this happened so quickly with our friend here.
Well, you know exactly how this happens.
I know, right? Time just flies by. Well, I do have a question. This question for you though.
Okay.
Obviously, we talked about sports, education, this, that, and the other. One thing that I think is very important to note is what do you see life being like in the post something 19 bug, right? People are working from home, communication has changed, right? A lot of things have changed. What do you see going forward?
I think it's gonna be really different. It already is, but I've noticed that at least the people I've worked with, they're control freaks, and it can get kind of insane. So the remote work stuff doesn't exactly work for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, and then you getting into the whole thought culture, I guess. Someone goes to work, someone doesn't, and they're just home all day. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's kind of become the norm, right? And the reason why I asked that is because as we go forward, right? We look at what's kind of coming down the pike. All of this will have major repercussions. And Coach Greg Adams, shout out to him. He did a show called Am I My Brother's Keeper? And Kat, what level of responsibility will let you go with this? What level of responsibility you believe that we have? The guy's side and the girl's side, to teach the next generation, because it might be over for the women in your age bracket, no different than my age bracket, right? Like there's guys out there saying, yo, Drex, I wanted marriage, I wanted kids, but I see what's going on. I mean, I'm checked out, man. I'm gonna get a doll because that's what's coming next, right? The lover box,
Goblin,
the guy, yeah, it's coming. For any women, so women have dominated the sexual marketplace since the dawn of time. Now we're about to see what's next, right? Whereas once guys finally can say, hey, prostitution's fully legal. Hey, I got dolls, right? What comes next? What happens when everything is transactional, right? It's just a scan. You scan, I scan. Oh, Kat, you want $20, you want $100, you want this. Scan this. All right, this is our consent scan. We're good to go. That's it, right? So what happens to the girls, right? What happens to all those girls coming up who they want family and all that? What do you tell the young girls coming up?
I think the thing I would tell young girls is check yourself
before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, so that was gonna be my next line. Yeah, just check yourself. That's why I think sports is a fun and relevant simile, whatever, because it's they don't understand. You don't have to be the hoe. You don't have to be the whatever, but you do need to be able to take that criticism of you're super negative. Why are you so negative? Well, figure that out. work on yourself, work on whatever you can, and just better yourself. And I think the same thing for guys too, though. I mean, but I feel like guys, because of the athletic general background, it's a little bit easier because they have those coach figures that they look up to. They have, they've either played or, maybe they're even just playing games online. And someone's like, oh, you fucked that up. It's just like, just work on yourself. It doesn't have to be like super specific. It just needs to like, just work on it. If whatever state you're in, just work on it.
I like that.
Okay. I'm glad.
All right. Kat, thank you very much for coming on and, blessing us with so much content. Drex, we are drowning in content here.
Phrasing. Well, I mean, hey, we can even get, we'll actually get Kat her other Thought Girl summer because she had lots of things that happened with her some people at the schools, but we'll get to that at some other time. We'll have some other degenerate chat going on. But yeah, Kat, thank you so much for coming on because the hours breeze by. I don't know what to tell you. I look up and time is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to stick around for this portion. We're just gonna hit up a couple of emails and voicemails.
Okay.
Oh, Drex, we got voicemails now.
Oh shit.
Looking forward to this. We'll dig into the email bag. But yeah, like I said, Kat, you don't have to stay for this part.
I'll stick around, but I'll mute myself, and then if called upon, I'll answer.
Okay.
Oh yeah, people will probably ask you questions in the Q&A. I'll do a Q&A for a little bit after this.
Oh, Drex, always the giver. Question about the history of courtesans? Courtesans? Oh, anyways. I've been listening to your streams, especially Thought Girl Summer, which led me to think about ancient simpery of rich clientele over courtesans. Why am I saying this word so weird?
You're saying no. You're saying a little funny.
Here, I'll just paste it in the chat. Why did this word break my brain? I think I'm having a stroke or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they used to be called, the courtesan, right?
Courtesan. Okay.
Yeah, you're saying courtesan.
I've never heard this word ever in my life. So I don't know.
That's so okay. So what that is, all it is that it's just a 304. With high class clients, right? Courtesan, right? That's all it is.
Line 304 on your IRS. Fill it out. The thought patrol. Anyways, who also deals with their own issues when they hit the. Will you ever do some ancient history discussions on this topic?
Definitely. I will definitely do that. I know Coach Greg Adams has done a lot of that too. I watch his channel and he's usually doing stuff that revolves around, like here's some examples throughout history and stuff. And, obviously bring in like biblical stuff. And obviously I'll flip the camera on. I'm going to get this new monitor to show, obviously there's issues with the whole, copyright this and that. But I think, the laws allow you to show like scenes of a movie or something, like a little snippets and stuff to dissect, because there's a lot of things, man, that if you look in, like I said, in movies, in music and everything, if you start to see it from a different lens, you can go, oh my God, that's what that was that whole time. Right?
History documentaries through the red pill lens.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you pause it every 30 seconds. Yeah. As long as you pause it, I know that you can. Yeah, the fair use. Oh, YouTube's acting funny. Yeah, I know that.
You also have to add, like, you have to add something to the mix, right? So commentary is the easiest way to go about that. Like, it's not like we don't know a lawyer or anything, right, Drex?
Yeah, right.
Like Nick plays we've played Gale videos, right? Like, there's a lot of things that you are allowed to do. Any PBS content, that's public domain. You can play anything from PBS.
Nice.
I think. Someone might get me on that one. I do believe PBS documentaries are public domain, which means that there's literally no rules. You could show as much or as little of it as you want. Anyways, well, yeah. So that was just someone emailing in for your thoughts on that. So, someone sent an email with a link to the first zoophile parade in Germany.
Wait, what the hell is that? The zoophile? You mean like
Fuck
was he
animals.
furries?
Bestiality.
Ugh. Dudes keep getting weirder, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, people are just getting weird out here.
That oh yeah, that was yeah, so the line at the bottom here says inform Drexel since he predicted the frankly obvious slippery slope.
Ooh, in what regard?
Well, first when they started doing these degenerate half-naked marches down Main Street, right?
Oh, yeah, I knew it was coming. Just like the
Now we're
jab.
doing zoophile and furry and
Yeah, it's all a cover. The whole rainbow agenda, it's all about subversion, and it's designed to normalize little by little, right? They don't do it overnight. Little by little by little by little until the worst possible
until
offenses.
Nambla shows up.
Until Nambla shows up, and people start saying, "Oh, maps.
It's not
Dude,
that bad.
It's not that bad." And yeah, well, I guess we accept it. We can't say anything that we can't call it wrong now. That's what happens. You get to that point where you can't call it out anymore. And we're getting there now, but this country is done. Okay. The West is done. But, I mean, there's people out there that, that still simp for the West and have hope, but it's over.
Yeah. We got an email in from someone who's currently in college in New York, Drexel.
Oh, that's where females' eggs go to die.
Oof. Big oof. Egg in French is oof.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And
now, I have a friend who's French, and I always tell her, I got a birthday coming up. I tell her anytime she wants, she can just leave. I don't even like picking up the phone when she calls because I rather just like listen to her on the voicemail, just say something with her French accent. It's beautiful. Shout out to her, by the way. Love you, Frenchie.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Look, sometimes climbing in the mountains, we'll sometimes see these very fit women from the Alps. So Swiss Alps, the Italian side, possibly French, right? Because they speak a lot of French in Switzerland. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah, I might have.
Yeah. So I've seen quite a few. There's quite a few French climbers that come out to Canada, just because they know they can get around in this country. Because everything in our national parks is bilingual, French and English. So they can walk up and read a sign, and it's in their language. So our parks are very popular with French tourists. Anyways, like I'm telling you, you'll get up there. You're at 9,000 feet. And you're looking for the extra motivation to keep climbing, and this like skinny in shape girl with a very thick French accent drops a rope down to you. All the motivation you need, and then you give her the rope back later that night in her tent. Hasn't happened yet. Has not happened yet. I'll admit it. But that is on one of my like bucket list sexual conquests, is to like bang in a tent.
Doesn't seem sexy to me. I don't like bugs. If you told me there were no bugs, even then, I don't want to ruin the nut. I just always have this thing where, like, I mean, all it takes is an animal showing up, a crazy guy showing up. I don't got time for that.
Oh God, no! Not in a campground. The only thing you got to be careful of. Do you think you could perform at your peak level in a deep freezer? Because it gets cold in Canada.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Who wants to, though, right?
I would. Oh, man. I can't think of anything sexier than banging in a full parka.
Yeah, I know I can. I definitely can.
I kid, of course. Yeah, before you guys go all bags of sand on me. Fucking hell. Anyways, back to our college girl. That was a hell of a tangent. The bad news is, I skipped one. The good news is she knows the consequences of college wokeness, hookup, blah, blah, blah. If she didn't listen to you, Drexel, she would have probably gone down the thought path. Bad news is that she learned it.
Jesus.
But, yeah.
Fuck.
If it weren't for you, she would have probably gone down that path. Yeah.
So this is a female emailer who's saying she listened to our stuff and decided not to go down the thought path.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do believe, like, the question of, like, am I my brother's keeper, dude? Sometimes it's like, am I my sister's keeper? Because I mean, I think one of the responsibilities of red pill content creators is, like, we can't call out thottery, but then not really like bring women down to earth and make sure they don't become thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like we got to tell girls, hey man, do it this way, right? If you do it this way, your odds of success are significantly higher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be Anna. It might be Anna that chose not to go down the thought path.
Yeah.
And Tim, I know Anna has emailed us before. Someone suggested that she go to Kevin Samuel's Facebook group, because I guess, like, the only thing that it's there, it's like the high value man looking for actual wives, not hookups. So that was suggested.
That seems all sorts of no to me.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Like, are these people vetted?
No. So Kevin Samuels vets them personally. Like you have to like follow some kind of, like, guidelines in order to get in, right? So
yeah, so these people are vetted.
Yeah, they're vetted. Yeah. So someone suggested that because, I mean, let's face it, dude. Tim, you and I have talked about this. It's over, right?
I mean, Anna can slide in my DMs whenever she wants.
You're telling me there's a bunch of women out there that are saying, "Oh, I got a bunch of guys lined up ready to marry me." I haven't heard that. I heard there's a line of guys ready to sleep with me, right? To smash. But marriage? No.
Anyways, back to our email. This is the longest email I've ever done, and it's not a long email. So good news is she, avoided thought path. Bad news is she learned it a year late after she registered for college. Now second year. So now she's like, she knows now that college is pointless, but it was only after the first year that she learned that.
Not the end of the world.
Well, because the first year was mostly online, right?
Yeah, especially like this past year. Yeah, she has a chance. I mean, she has a chance. I mean,
so she says, I can drop out, but the consequences outweigh the benefits. She's got one of those families that would be, like, super scorned and disappointed with her.
Do you know what's better than dealing with your
emotional
family?
And financial.
These girls need to get married, man. Well, here's the thing. I'm anti-marriage from the male perspective, but from the female perspective, it's like being a father. Hey, watch this. Hey, Tim, if you had like 5 girls, you'd want to marry them off, right?
Yeah.
But if you had 5 boys, you wouldn't want them to get married, right?
Go to law school or go to med school and find a husband.
Yep.
I will pay for
everything
it.
is in reverse.
I will pay for your law school. Go to law. For fuck's sakes, don't be a lawyer, but go to law school.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be so tough for these girls going forward.
Do you have any advice on how to survive college in the 2020s?
Just keep your head down and don't listen to the woke, right? Just keep your headphones in. Honestly, keep your headphones in, because Tim, you and I have talked about this, right? The woke is getting. I've been hearing from multiple people. Shout out to our man Manic, who told us about how bad the high schools are. It's already bad enough, right? Like, you already made a mistake going to college. Anyone going to college, I have serious questions about, you personally. Like, what are you doing? You're just wasting your time and your money. However, if you're already invested,
she's wasting her dad's money, so that's
you're already wasting your dad's money. You're already there. Okay, get whatever you can out of that education, but please keep your head down. Don't just ignore all wokeness. When they tell you to hate men, when they tell you there's 58,000 genders, whatever they tell you, just keep your head down. Yeah, whatever. Don't.
Yeah, nod your head. Go along with it until. Remember, go along with it until it costs you something.
Pretty much,
right? Because that's like 90% of woke is I believe in all this stuff, but I'd never put my life on it, right? Yep. I believe in this until it hits me in the wallet.
Yeah, the majority of when for just a pro tip for our female there,
just
the guys who are going to make the money, the guys who are going to be good providers and protectors are going to be IT guys, STEM field guys, guys like that. So If you're looking for a husband, you know,
Business, the people doing undergrad and poli-sci are probably going to law school.
maybe.
So get the, you know, but for fuck's sakes, do not stay away from the college Republicans.
Oh yeah,
There's no greater simp than the TradCon.
Oh, they're insufferable, man. They're really insufferable. But yeah, I mean, like his thing, Tim. It would be a lot easier if we like saw, you know, obviously, you know, if we knew the school, we got to, you know, size it up. It'd be easier to give advice because
I don't want to dox the poor.
Well, yeah, we're not doxing anybody. I'm just saying that like it's so hard to give advice because it's like if a girl or think about it, what if a guy came to you and just said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" But it's like you need to know all the little ins and outs, right? The angles, right? Who are we dealing with? What age is? Blah blah blah. But like as a general rule of thumb, get with a guy who's going somewhere, who wants an actual relationship and wants marriage, right? If you see someone engaging in hookup culture, don't.
Yeah, someone who has actual ambition, like you're with them, you're doing a group project or whatever, and they're talking about, well, you know, when I'm going to finish my school and I'm going to open my own business, and you know, my dad gave me like $50,000 investment fund, and I want to do this with it, right? Those are the kind of people. Not always. Some of them are talkers and never doers, but someone who has passion and ambition is less likely to be a loser or a simp.
But what's the flip side of that, though, Tim? We've talked about this. The flip side is the guys who do have all the ambition, who are making moves, they're becoming more and more checking out.
Yep.
Like, so it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, you know, Kat said it earlier. She doesn't want a simp because no woman wants a simp. So
anyway, that's the end of the
tough.
email. That's the end of the email. I'm gonna see if this voicemail comes through.
All right, let's see. Let's do it.
Glenn S. Hansen. You can go see his grave at Fort Logan Cemetery. He was a veteran, obviously. He married a single mother. He was abused and used his whole life and moved the adult daughter back in. They basically killed him, the abuse that he had, took everything he had, scrubbed their whole family out of the picture. His obituary is 2 sentences. There's no chance of seeing any family he had. They took everything from him. When you get married to anybody, especially a single mom, I want you to go out there. Fort Logan Cemetery, Denver, Colorado. Glenn F. Hansen.
That actually came in pretty good. How'd it come in for you?
It was okay. The story is beyond tragic, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Holy shit, bro. That's like okay, and now introducing the Black Pill call-in show, right?
Yeah.
I love that though, because Tim, this is what these guys need to hear, man. I want you guys to hold other men accountable. Is she a single mother? If the answer is yes, that means no marriage. There should be no marriage, period. I know. There should be, listen, marriage strike. Bette Midler says there should be a sex strike, right? Because of the Texas abortion law. Why aren't guys having a marriage strike, a relationship strike, a simp strike? No OnlyFans donations, no subscriptions, no foodie calls, no Cash App, no Snapchat premium, no foot pics exchanges, nothing. Jesus Christ, man. Shit. Tim, can you imagine that? He lost everything. And that story is so common. And that goes back to what I told Kat. I keep looking for these women to be good, right? I legitimately like, where's all the women saying, no, we are gonna join forces and we're gonna tear down this evil family court? I keep looking. I don't see not one. Literally not one. They do lip service. I'll give them credit. I give credit where it's due. A lot of you ladies are saying that, you know, you're parroting what we're saying in the manosphere, right? And they will go on and make TikTok videos and, oh my God, I believe men and men are getting a raw deal. All right.
He was a veteran.
Yeah, he's a vet. He's
a vet.
They don't care. They're incapable of love.
And you know what? If you dug him up and you said, hey, would you go to war again knowing what happened? Yeah, he'd probably do it again. He'd probably go back out there. He'd be like, I'd change other things in my life.
Maybe.
Not that one.
I've talked to Ty Beard about this, and Ty Beard said if his uncles who died in war, guys who went out and fought for the country, he said, and I have uncles like that, right? If they knew where this country was going and how everybody was going to hate them and they're all toxic, he said they would just turn over in their grave. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll clean it up in post and reinsert the voicemail. But no,
cool.
and this guy sent a follow-up email because he wasn't sure if the voicemail came.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now we got you, buddy. He had a little bit more context to it, but I mean, you can basically figure it out, right?
Yeah, a veteran got hosed, right?
Yeah. They scrubbed his online genealogy to remove our emailer's mother and our emailer from his so this was his grandfather. From the records, so that everything went to the new girl that he married.
Wow.
And that there was no record of anyone in his life before that.
Wow.
All his grave says at the bottom is loving husband. They put down on his paperwork that he was in food service. He was a veteran, Drex. But on the paperwork, they said food service.
That's sad, man.
And of course, veterans, they get their retirement, right?
Yep.
Well, guess where that went?
It is what it is, man. It's
married to her for 40 years, still dies alone.
It's sad, dude. It's sad. That's the norm.
Anyways, on that depressing note, you know where to find us. Patreon.com/Migtown Podcast, YouTube.com/Migtown Podcast, Manosphere.tv/@Migtown Podcast. You guys know where to find us. You know how to support us. 1-855-MIGTOWN. That is our voicemail. Give that number a call. Leave us a voicemail. Maybe we'll play it on a show. Maybe we won't. We'll have to do the Russell Greer disclaimer, Drex. We won't necessarily play or read everything that comes in.
Oh yeah, the Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah. Oh shit! I almost forgot my big announcement. So we mentioned this on the last live stream, but I don't think it got fleshed out enough. We are launching an official Migtown product store. You'll be able to buy t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, and cases for your iPhone or Android phone. I think it's mostly just Samsung and iPhone cases. We'll be launching with the one pattern, one design first, but we will keep expanding the lineup and adding more as we get more done for our lineup. Dollhouse Phil has got the honor of ordering the very first shirt off our store. So I want to see that he gets it and it looks okay before I open the store up to the public. Like I mentioned on the live stream, Patreon and Subscribe Stars will get the first look at things because I don't want something selling out on us before they, all the good people who've supported us so far.
Yeah.
And of course, once I've had a chance to ship a few of these items out, by the way, we do shipping all over the world. I think there's a very small list of countries we can't ship to, like Afghanistan, Venezuela, probably China. But then again, they are banning the feminine min, so maybe, Drex, you're allowed in there. Although, what they did to Star Wars, though, they don't like black guys very much. I'll have to whiteface you on the shirt.
Yeah, right.
I should do like I should just white your skin somehow. Get like a white Drexel on there. Anyways, we're super excited to launch this store, Drex. It's given me a lot of headaches because I have to calculate VATs and sales taxes and whatnot, but it's a lot of fun. It really is. I think. The best part is I don't actually store merchandise in Canada, so you will receive it in a reasonable length of time. Everything's down in the US. And I think that's all I got for announcements. Drex, final thought to you.
Nothing. I just want to thank Kat for coming on. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Leave your comments down below. And in regards to the like I said, Battle of the Sexes, what do you guys see all of this going in the future? Do you see people finally getting back together? Do you see people drifting further apart? Let us know.
Until next time, everyone. Stay frosty.
Peace.